Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Flyers news and rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined in by Justin Giampietro. Justin, we're going to probably rehash some stuff we've talked about in these shows many times, but how's it going?
Well, the good news for the Flyers is that the Olympic break is coming up. It's been bad recently. I mean, they have lost, I believe, 11 of their past 13 games. They had those two good games against Colorado, against Vegas. Well, I didn't think they were particularly great in those two games, but they got wins, and those are two pretty good teams. And then aside from that, it's just been not great. They haven't found that early season magic. And at this point, with other teams in the East just continuing to win games over and over and over again, it's going to be near impossible to get back in the playoff race. So a little bit of apathy setting in. We're used to this. In 2024, we kind of saw this happen where the team collapsed a bit. Even last year, they looked like they might be in the race and they just completely fell apart. Kind of feels like that point of the season, but I guess we'll see. The break is coming at a very good time. Could not be coming at a better time for this team, for them to, regroup and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say, once the Olympic break's over, I only have, it's like a couple months before, a month and a half before the playoffs. And there's not a lot of time to really, you have to get on some big winning streaks and not lose many games, or all the other teams are winning right now. And both the Atlantic and the Metro, the Atlantic's got so many teams still packed together. It might end up being that not many Metro teams make the playoffs except for the three that are in the division, right? So we'll see how that all goes. We're, like I said, rehashing things. We're, of course, going to start with Rick Tocchet again. And Daniel Brière kind of backing him as a head coach. Of course, he did hire him. He's not backing off the fact that was a good decision. What do you think about all this? It is playing with fire the way it seems like overall throughout social media, podcasts, stuff like that. The Tocchet's not a very popular guy right now.
Yeah, it is only social media that I am aware of, but Tocchet is just not popular right now. The team isn't winning. The team isn't fun. The prospects don't look amazing, like outside of Porter Martone. And there's just so much drama and negativity, and it's tiring. And I think that has got a lot of people annoyed. It's just not a fun time right now. Maybe when they were winning games, you could ignore all the drama and say, you know what? The Flyers are winning, and I haven't seen them win a lot. But now they're not winning. And now they're probably not going to make the playoffs. It would take an insane run at this point. They would basically have to win all their games. It's almost getting to that point with the way these teams are playing. It might take 100 points to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to 2022, I believe, was the year where just every team was very good and, the bar too high, so things aren't great. And as Tocchet continues to double down on his Michkov stances, you can agree with him that he came into camp out of shape, and that's a problem. That was in September, and we're in February. Yeah. February. That was so long ago. That was almost half a year ago, and we're still talking about how he came into camp out of shape. And keep in mind, Michkov played one of his best games of the year against Colorado in that 7-3 win, which was recent. And then he gets 10 minutes against LA, a game that went to overtime. And, and this was at the Flyers Carnival event that they do every year. And it's supposed to be a more uplifting thing, so you don't really want to grill the head coach there. But he did get asked about Michkov's usage in that game. And that's what he said. He was like, he came to camp out of shape. And it's the same old story that we've been hearing. And frankly, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And when you combine that with some of the things that went down in Vancouver, uh, I look at Andrei Kuzmenko and how he was traded and how he was treated. I think he kind of plays a little similarly to Michkov in some ways. So, look, I'm not sure that Michkov is going to get traded or something like that, but I do think that it's one or the other at this point. I mean, we've gotten to that stage of the year where I don't know if they can coexist. I mean, Michkov hasn't come out and said fire Talkett and I'll leave if you don't fire him or something like that. But it does feel like they're not really compatible in terms of Talkett's play style. It just doesn't mix well with someone like Michkov, and he's been singled out a lot. And this whole drama has gone back to Brière. You have some people questioning whether he should be the GM right now because of this hire, because of this, in some people's eyes, disastrous hire. Now people are looking at Brière and are questioning if he is the man for the job, the person who can bring a Stanley Cup to Philadelphia. That is a problem. He hasn't, to my knowledge, come out and said recently that we're committed to Talkett and we're going to stick it out for the 5 years of his contract. But by being complacent, he is backing Talkett. So, and you have like bigger talking heads in this Philadelphia sports sphere going after Brière. More recently on WIP, one of the big Philadelphia sports radios, the biggest. And they don't talk about the Flyers a lot from what I know. It's usually all Eagles and stuff like that. But when the Flyers get mentioned, you know it's something big. And I mean, they went in on the Flyers, and there's concerns on whether this thing is going to lead to a cup, this whole rebuild plan. Again, when you have a controversial coach like this, it has people really, really down in the dumps. And this is what happens. You have people concerned about everything. So by backing Talkett, it doesn't look good for Brière. I'm not saying that they should make a coaching change. That's not my call. But I am saying that the longer Talkett stays and the longer, this lingers, that's a better way to say it, the longer that this drama persists, the worse it looks for the front office. Brière's the one who drafted Michkov. Brière's the one who hired Rick Talkett. If they can't get along, this thing's definitely not going to work out. I can promise you that. They are not going to win a Stanley Cup with the coach and player battling it out. Not going to happen. So you do have to make a decision here.
For sure. I mean, and they didn't sign him. They also didn't sign Talkett for a short term either. I mean, many times teams have gotten rid of coaches early on in a long-term contract. John Tortorella in Vancouver, he signed for 5 years. He was gone after one. So, I mean, it's not out of the question. There's so many other examples as well. But I mean, that it just happens. I mean, it's like, oh, we made a mistake. Let's get rid of, they'll do it. But yeah, it is a tough thing. And I agree with Talkett being, he seems to be prickly with Russian players. I mean, not just Kuzmenko, but Vasily Podkolzin. They also didn't get along. And he was traded as well because he didn't have a spot in the lineup. But yeah, I think it's just something. I'm not saying it's just Russians, but it just seems like the last 3 Russians that he's coached seems to be issues. So I don't know if there's anything to it, but it's interesting. All right, moving to another. I mean, we talked about this not that long ago. Is Christian Dvorak's extension looked like a pretty good one at the time. It seems to really fit in with the Flyers as on the top line there. But since he signed, the team hasn't been good. Correlation, but 3-8-3, -22 goal differential, not good. Is there a correlation to it? Did they do this too soon? Maybe signing him.
Well, for me, I don't think Dvorak has been like bad or anything. I think he's been kind of what he has been all season long. So, no, you can't really blame the losing skid, whatever you want to call it, on Dvorak. I don't think it's a him problem. I think it is a team problem. Everyone on the team. But if you just waited another month until right now, if you were a little bit more patient, does this deal even get signed? It was unpopular when it was signed. There were a lot of people, even though the Flyers were in a good spot at that point, you had a lot of people who were not happy and they were concerned. I mean, this is a 30-year-old. He turns 30 years old. By the time this video is going to be out, he's going to be a 30-year-old middle six center, basically. And Father Time does not stop for anybody, and not Christian Dvorak either. By the time he's even 31, maybe even next season, he could regress offensively. That is not a critique on him. That is just how the human body works. He can't control that, right? No. So it was a big risk when it was signed, and you might have been able to get a first-round pick at the deadline. I know the Flyers are trying to win. They don't really want to tear it down again. There's a reason Brière, at the time Tortorella was fired last season, he called it rock bottom. And I believed him, and I still kind of do believe him. And I don't think he was lying, is what I'll say. Trading Dvorak would kind of be going against that philosophy a little bit, that, we're tearing it down again. That would be a step in the wrong direction. So I can see why they did what they did. And it's not like they have a ton of center help coming up. You're still going to have to wait for someone like Nesbitt, going to be in the minors or in the junior leagues, I would assume, next season. Luchenko, he might be in the NHL, but just as likely to be in the AHL. So you did need a center. But at the same time, if you even tried to sign this deal right now, I don't think you could. I think there would be way too much backlash. And I think even Brière would know that. So maybe it was too premature. I mean, you had a long time to think this over, but they did it in January. And I don't think it's aging well. Because, again, if you just waited an extra month, you probably don't make the same decision.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, looking at the market for centers right now, he would probably fetch a first-round pick when you're looking at, it's not a full market for guys that can play in a top six. So, I mean, and Dvorak could be good for a playoff team as well. I think the Flyers would have done pretty well in that trade. But we'll see how it all goes. I mean, it's the short sample size since he signed, and and like you said, it's not his fault. He's not the reason they're losing. But it's something that this trade might have. I mean, this extension might not have happened if they waited for now. So we'll see. Right. Positively though, you talked about Porter Martone. He's AA. Very recently doing really ripping up the Big Ten conference, right? And outdoor games, he was really good. 3 assists. Michigan State is just dominating, 21-5 on the season. So I mean, Martone looking like a big leader in the NCAA right now, and could be in the NHL soon. But he's on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, that is the positive. Again, it just has been not positive. Like, I'll be honest, me personally, been in a negative headspace with the Flyers, but Porter Martone has been the big bright spot.
Yeah.
He was fantastic against Penn State. That is a big rival. And outdoors at Beaver Stadium, that is something that is a game that everyone had their eyes on. And he performed. He was fantastic. 3 assists, and he's been dominant all year. I mean, he is putting up some of the best point per game numbers in the NCAA, period. That's where he's at now. So we'll see if he's a Hobey Baker contender. He's definitely got a case. He has been very, very good this season. There have been times where he hasn't been as good, especially those like nationally broadcasted games, but this was not one of those cases. I think he was fantastic, and nothing changes for me. Whether he's good, whether he's bad, he is still one of the bright spots for this team's future. And he's only proving that now with the season that he's having. The World Juniors, I thought he was okay. But again, that didn't change anything for me. We can see what he can do at the collegiate level. We're seeing it now against these big opponents, and we'll see it for the rest of the season, what he's capable of. I think he's been as advertised. So we'll see what the future entails. We'll see if he's in the NHL next season. I would assume so, especially with what happened with Cutter Gauthier and that whole drama that he had to be in college for another year. I would assume they want to get him in the NHL. And I think he's good enough for the NHL. It's not just like we're too scared to Gauthier 2.0. I think he's just good enough, period. But I guess we'll see. He'll have to earn it. So,
yeah. I mean, 34 points in 24 games as a freshman in the NCAA. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not all these guys do this type of stuff right in their first year coming out. I mean, he played in the Canadian Hockey League last season. So it's like this is a transition that you're not really sure how he was going to adjust. And really, I don't know if there was a huge adjustment period. He seems to have been pretty good from the beginning. So, I think he's probably ready for the NHL, but we'll see. I mean, it all depends on what he thinks too. I mean, some guys like to go a little more than the 1 year in college, but I think he probably comes over. But that we'll find out not that long from now, really. I don't think he'll play for the Flyers this season. It seems like Michigan State's going to go pretty far. By the time that'll happen, I think the Flyers only have a couple games left on their schedule by the time be able to, even if they went all the way to the end of the NCAA season, the national championship and all that. But I mean, he might get a game. We'll see how that all goes. But yeah, next season, I think he'll probably be in the NHL. All right. Well, not a lot of positive stuff on this video except for Martone, but that's how it is in Flyers land right now. But thanks, Justin, for coming on and talking Flyers as always. I make sure to check it out. We got great articles throughout the site. Andrew put out a great one on seems like a perennial slump that the Flyers seem to go into every second half of the season. So check that article out. All of our other videos on the YouTube channel and our Substack newsletter. But till our next video, we will see you next time.